All righty. Good morning to you, everybody. Mark Sudduth, Hurricane Track, CJ Morgan, also Hurricane Track. Nice hoodie, by the way. I like
Love
that.
this hoodie.
You designed that, right?
Yeah, I did. Quick. I think it was actually made in the United States, or at least printed in the US, if I remember correctly.
And you've worn that out on a few of our
Yep,
field missions. I think
I
you
have.
walked through the time lapse of the Kim, Colorado hail shot.
Yeah.
Situational awareness. Hey, good to see everybody. I am in Wilmington, North Carolina with my hoodie.
Yeah. Oh, did we lose Mark? So Mark is in.
Um,
Oh, there you
not
go.
not a sponsor, but a great. Why is my internet connection unstable?
I have
How could
no
that even
idea.
be? How could that even be? I got not Google. It's AT&T fiber.
Right.
There's no way my connection is unstable. You're unstable. Yeah, I got my dockside hoodie, which is, by the way, where I had my first date with my wife 30 something years ago. That's freaking insane.
Yep.
All right, so this is the banter portion of Talking Weather while we wait for people to jump on from their YouTube notifications. And you do have your notifications on, right, everybody? And you are subscribed, right? Of course you are, because you want to learn some engaging and interesting facts and kind of look at you know, opening the curtain a little bit about how some of this stuff works. We also have a little bit of humor thrown in from time to time, but at the end of the show, each time we do it, we hope you go away with a little bit more knowledge up here than you came in with. So thank you for joining us. And thank you, CJ. Did you survive the cold so far?
Yeah, so far, good morning from the Arctic tundra of Southwest Florida. At least it's how it
Yes.
felt this morning.
And it's going to get worse. It is
Yeah.
going to get worse.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, let's jump right in with both feet, and as cold as they may be, let's see what we got. So there's our title card. Good to see you, everybody. A few familiar faces and names, and some that are brand new. Thank you for tuning in. Here are our talking points for today. It is Tuesday, January 27th in the year of 2026. And need I remind you, the sixth year of 2020. So there you go.
Right.
Snowstorm for the mid-Atlantic. That's the big, everybody's talking about it. And this has potential, just like our YouTube thumbnail says, this could be big.
Exactly.
It really could be, and or it couldn't be. And that is, why we talk
Hmm.
about this. What is more than likely coming as well? Record cold headed for Florida. Sorry, CJ and everybody else
Yeah.
down there. I saw somebody kind of joking about, will we see exploding iguanas? Max Velocity started it all off with his little graphic of the exploding
Floating
tree.
trees.
You know what? As long as people are talking about the weather, I guess it's a good thing. But no,
Exactly.
hopefully no exploding iguanas. That would be horrifying.
Yeah,
And I'm sure somebody's going to make those on AI. So have fun with that.
totally.
And with all this cold, Artemis 2, the wet dress,
Yeah.
that's coming up, I think February 2nd.
Yep.
And that's going to be interesting. I don't really know much about that. I'm not a rocket person, but I thought I'd at least
Nope.
discuss it. And it'll go part and parcel with the cold temperature stuff that we're talking about. But that's coming. Artemis is sitting out on the launch pad and they're going to do this wet dress thing, firing up
Hmm.
some stuff and whatever all that means. We got to get the rocket guys on sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll join us. But anyway, and then, hey, look, we got a guy from Aurora, Colorado on. Sorry about the snow drought out there. It is
Yeah.
bad. So we're going to discuss all of that and more in today's episode. First, our national high and low temperatures. Again, one of my favorites for yesterday. Minus 31 over in Peters Sinks, Utah. They chime in often. But
Yep.
Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach,
Yeah.
90. What y'all doing down there in Florida, CJ? What the heck?
It's funny because they hit 90 and here we barely made it above 70. And that was yesterday morning, early
Wow.
yesterday morning. So it was all about the timing when the front slid through for this part of the state. It was earlier in the day. So we didn't
Right.
really make it out of the 70s and our temperatures, basically tumbled the rest of the day. So,
And CJ's up in the Venice area on the
yep.
west coast of Florida.
Yep.
So yeah, 90 shared by Fort Lauderdale and West
Yep.
Palm Beach. So we know where these places are. Come on, you know West Palm and Fort Lauderdale. Look at that population density down there.
Yep.
So this will be fun. What I like to do is show people where these national high and lows happened, and we're going to drag, it could be drab, our Google Street View person. Hey, they've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Fort Lauderdale. Let's just see what we come up with. Boom. So there we are. Oh, perfect. What? I didn't plan this, I swear. What is happening? What in the name of Peach Dragon is that?
I'm
And
trying so hard as a Floridian to not be stereotypical. But come
um,
on.
so hopefully these people are helping this person and not robbing this person. Way back on April 2016, when this image, are you guys seeing this? Like, Mark, you planned this. I promise. I did not. It is random. I dropped the Google Street View person, and wow. So I need to know some backstory about that. 90 degrees
Yeah, it's
yesterday.
definitely South Florida.
Yeah. So let's just take a look here, go down the street and come back around. I see. So they were pushing this
Ah,
lady, and there's always, hey, look, what a world we live in. We can see the evolution. And then these folks come along. I guess she got an iguana stuck in her wheelchair or something, and then she's just gone. Uh, oh, because it jumps to 2021. That's right. So some
mm,
time travel there.
that's
Very, very interesting.
wow.
This is one of the more weird ones that I've ever seen. The first time I ever did it, when I started this part of the segment, got a gnat in here or something. I thought they all died in the cold.
Right.
Um, First time I did this, I dropped it in Gunnison, Colorado, and the Google Street View person was having lunch at Taco Bell. I kid you guys not, if you remember that
That's great.
show. But anyway, this is Fort Lauderdale, where it was
It
90 degrees
tracks.
yesterday. So yeah, well done, South
I love you,
Florida.
Broward, but it tracks.
God, that's a keeper. All
It
right,
definitely
cold,
is.
the cold, and this is where I get to teach you something. I don't know what I could teach you about that other place. Just hey, if you find somebody in need of some help, help them. I guess that's the
Yep.
lesson. Okay, so Peter Sinks, Utah is where it was minus 31,
Oh,
and there's not a lot of Google Street View going on up here. So I can just show
right.
you, I've done this before. Well, let's do this little hairpin turn right here. The Google Street View up in this area was done on ATV,
That is
and you can
awesome.
see some digital logos put on there. But a really fascinating way to teach you guys about this area, and it's sort of this bowl. Here's a Google
Hmm.
picture, and the air likes to sink into this area. Whoops, I exited everything. The air, I say, likes to sink into this bowl,
Yep.
and it accumulates and piles up because cold air is thick and dense, kind of like some of our noggins, and
Hmm.
you get these very cold temperatures. I would like to figure out where the heck the ASOS station for this is because they're
So
giving reports. Yeah,
so from what I understand, and I there was the only reason I heard about this place prior, there was some guy I saw a YouTube video that he camped in this area, and his goal, I guess he was a survivalist or whatever, his
right.
goal was to survive, the cold there in Peter Sinks. But I believe it's at the lowest point there in that basin.
Oh, okay.
But there is actually like you could see it in his shot, like the actual ASOS station that's there.
Nice. We'll
Yeah,
have to look for
and I
that one
believe
day.
it's at one of the lower areas because I guess it's known throughout that area as being, a
Right.
cold air,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
want to record that.
Well, we'll have to, because Peter Sinks will definitely be chiming in the
Yeah.
future, I assure you. And again, that cold air likes to settle there, and we're going to find that ASOS station if it's the last thing we do, which hopefully it won't be. But anyway, all right. So from the hilarity of what was ever happening there in Fort Lauderdale to some humor from Tampa, also known now as Antarctica.
Yeah.
And Tampa Electric, not wanting to be left out, putting the
Yeah.
old Jack Nicholson. Yep. There you go. So pretty darn cold in Florida. You guys aren't happy about it, but
Mm-mm.
it'll just be temporary and people are laughing. Definitely a Crocs and socks kind of day.
Yes, it is.
East Pasco here feels like it. Woohoo! I hope Phoebe has her on her hat and scarf. So
So
please,
Phoebe is the giant flamingo. For those of you who've flown through Tampa International in the main terminal, her name is Phoebe. So TPA is my home airport, and I will admit, whoever's running their social media these days deserves a raise because their stuff is it's pretty good.
interesting. I'm glad
Yeah.
you knew that because I'd have been like Phoebe
Yep.
from Friends, but
No. Yeah.
no, Phoebe the
Phoebe the
flamingo.
flamingo. Yes.
Hang in there, Florida. Eventually, the pattern will flip and
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson will thaw out. All right. So, speaking of airports, a good way to segue into this.
Oof.
Not quite as miserable today, but
No.
still pretty darn miserable. We're looking at lots of cancellations. If we look up here in the New York City area, 87 flights canceled. I mean, having a
Mm-hmm.
flight canceled is extremely stressful.
Yes.
And look at the ones that are rolled up headed out to LAX, that red there. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
The people trying to fly across the country, even Atlanta, canceled 11 flights, 47 delayed. Dallas not looking too great. 42 canceled, 39 delayed. Talked to my friend Steve over text yesterday. He's still in
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, wrapping things up, been doing some training out there. Miami, also not the best right now. 29 canceled. Like, yee, just not a good week for air travel. In fact, CJ, I forgot to drop this factoid yesterday, and Steve was reminding me of this. The cancellations that we saw and the reduction of
Mm-hmm.
air travel, we have to go back to the pandemic of 2020 and
Wow.
9/11 to see this kind of an impact on U.S. air travel as this
Wow.
storm did. So
Okay.
everybody's saying it didn't live up to expectations. It was a bust. They
No, it
overhyped it.
definitely did.
Well, you have 9/11, arguably, besides Pearl Harbor, the worst thing to ever happen to our country. And then
Right.
the pandemic, pretty much the worst thing on a giant scale that ever happened to the world in
Yeah.
modern times. And then this, number three. I
Right.
think that ranks up there as being pretty damn impactful.
Yeah.
So hang in there. Hopefully things will start to resume more normal operations and we can get a break. But yep, thought I would show you that. Still kind of miserable. All right. So this sucks. Don't be this guy. I saw this in my algorithm. Somebody having a good time listening to some music, and then, thanks.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
why?
Thank you.
Oh,
But whoever that is, it looks like a Tacoma. Maybe. Might be a Tacoma. Can you figure out what kind of car that is, CJ?
it almost looked like a Chevy, but I can't. Yeah, I didn't.
Some Tacomas do have that little air intake thing.
Yeah. Oh, you
But
mean the truck that the video is
yeah,
coming
sorry.
from? Okay.
From
Yeah,
from
I
a
don't know.
drop. Excellent
Maybe.
driving was my
Yeah, that
point
was
here.
great.
So yeah, let's just do a real quick replay. And this is the wide dash camera. So that is a
Yikes.
Chevy. And whoops. But seriously, props to the driver of not completely losing it. And you know why they
Yeah,
didn't
wow.
completely lose it? Not just because they have good driving skills. They weren't speeding.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
Physics, people. Physics. So well done there. All right. Sorry, Colorado. Got to address this. Chris Bianchi out
Yeah,
there.
this is a problem.
Matt's talking about it with me. He's like, everybody's depressed because it just, ugh,
Right.
like ski resorts is all hurting. Colorado snowpack is the worst on record, and there's barely any snow on the way from the mountains over the next 2 weeks. So that groundhog,
Yeah.
you better pull something out of your burrow there, Mr. Groundhog, because Colorado's counting on you. Northern mountains get a bit on Thursday, but it's a drop in the bucket. This pattern stinks. This winter stinks. Seriously, though, this is a big, big problem, not just for the local economy and the snowpack and the here and now, but the Rockies, if I remember my geomorphology and my water basin geography correct, the Rockies is what feeds the Colorado River Basin.
Hmm.
That could be very problematic for the Grand Canyon and elsewhere, the
Yep.
Colorado River, later on. So we're going to be monitoring this as we go forward through the rest of the winter and spring. Huge ramifications if this drought continues.
Absolutely.
And you guys are still in drought down in your neck of the woods, right,
Oh,
CJ?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Worst of the snowpack. Look at this, some graphics he's put together. Wow.
Wow.
Very, very bad. Very low. So we'll see. Pray for snow. They actually say that out west. Oh, a crashing tab. Thanks, Firefox. We'll get you
Oopsie.
back. And to that end, Hartford, Boston, and Providence saw more snow in the last 36 hours than Denver has seen all
That's
winter.
insane.
20 inches in Worcester,
Yep.
Boston 20, Hartford 17.3. These are some
Yep.
stats out of National Weather Service Boston. And maybe more morbidly obtuse. I like that. 2 more feet coming next weekend. Maybe. We'll see. All right, moving on along. Snow drought. Not only is it Colorado, but also Salt Lake City.
Yep.
30 inches below the average. Boy, the Utah snow is some of the best. I used to ski that when I lived out west.
Yep.
Brian Head, Park City. Yes, I used to do it. Probably could still do it. It's like riding a bike. You ever been skiing, CJ?
I've been snowboarding. I didn't ski, I snowboarded, but our snowboarding in the Appalachians is a little different.
Right. Boy, I did on Tahoe,
Yeah.
Lee Canyon outside of Vegas, Brian Head, Utah, which my friend Tracy, who works at the Las Vegas Review Journal out there, she's going to
Right.
Brian Head, might even be there today. But yeah, it's rough out there in Utah, and this is really going to have implications for the spring snowmelt and the potential for low water problems. So we're going to be watching this
Right.
more than just for the snow lovers and ski folks. All right. Hats off to National Weather Service Atlanta. If I had a hat, well, here I do. I've got my Fox weather hat. So we'll hats off. There you go. Um, Round of applause for NWS Atlanta. This was, I believe, their final forecast prior to the start of the event compared to actual. Compare that footprint to the footprint of what actually fell in Georgia. Still waiting on their official map that will
Yep.
give us a much more detail about what and where. But the footprint of the cold air damming was well forecasted by the National Weather Service in Atlanta. This was what they were forecasting, and this is what we ended up getting. Very, very well done
Yep.
overall. And that, folks, is hard. This kind of stuff, freezing rain, sleet, how all that works out with the cold air
Hmm.
damming east of the Appalachians. Well done. Of course, Oxford, Mississippi, up here in northern Mississippi, just
Yeah.
bleeped very, very bad. I saw Pettis. He's in
Yep.
Tennessee. Got himself a hotel room. I hope they're doing fine. By the way, James Pettis does some really good drone stuff too. Got to get him
Yes.
to go one day. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see if he wants to chime in from the hotel.
Right.
Hopefully he's back home. So much to talk about. All right. Finally, you sent me this. Hour 41 of being snowed in. The children are becoming feral. We are out of Twix ice cream bars, but we still have the 63 rolls of toilet paper.
I bet there
Mmm.
are plenty of people out there that are in very similar conditions.
Brave soldier, never thinking of himself. How much liquor you got left? Plenty.
I like down further because how much milk do you have? It all expired yesterday.
Sure. That's terrific.
Oh,
Wow. Toilet paper,
oh,
bread, water, and cigarettes. Snowstorm
yep,
and prison staples.
yep,
Wow. As I've said, the internet, this social media stuff, parallel the best and the worst thing humans have ever
exactly.
come up with at the same time. It's the best and the
Hmm.
worst. All right. So now that hopefully everybody has tuned in and you're on and you're ready for some news and whatever of the future, let's get on with it. Currently, mostly east of the Rockies, pretty much. And now, more or less east of the Mississippi, more or less. Although west, it's still pretty chalked in with cold problems.
Yep,
But no big storms yet. We're in this part right now between storms. So everything we see on the map here is generally cold weather related. But let's just click around a little bit and see how our friends are doing. Let's go to Southwest Louisiana and we'll just pick some random area on the map. 29 degrees. And this would be Lake Charles is the office, Orange, Texas, or Orange. This has got to
mhm.
be Louisiana. It is Orange, Louisiana. Sorry. No, this is
Yeah, I
Texas.
guess the nearest weather station is probably the county airport there
Right.
in Orange County.
Yeah, not far from Deweyville. Been there.
Mm,
29 there. Not, that's cold for them.
yeah.
Up here in Ohio, Jen's neck of the woods. We'll just
Hmm.
click on Canton. Let's see how they're doing in Canton. 4
Hmm.
and our tab crash. Come on, Firefox. I say, oh, now we're back to Lake Charles. Start over. How about Florida? Let's pick CJ's neck of the woods.
Yep.
And
It's lots of cold.
Sarasota area, 46.
Yep.
Wow, I would love 46.
So would
You're
a
gonna
lot
be
of people. Yeah.
59 today, 62 tomorrow, and
Yeah.
then into the toilet you go. 31
Hmm.
Sunday night. Yikes.
Yeah. So this will be, if that forecast holds, I've lived here almost 11 years. It'll be the first time we have officially dropped below freezing.
That's
So,
insane. Let's check Port Charlotte
yeah,
and
Port
see how they're
Charlotte
looking. 32 and then
and
30 Sunday
30.
night.
Hmm.
Wow, we're going to really have some problems here as
Yep.
we'll address going forward. So, all in all, since we are in between storm systems, the map is filled with advisories related to cold instead of actual
Yep.
precip falling from the sky. Still some freezing spray advisories, heavy heavy freezing spray warning, and then off of Lake Ontario, they do have a lake effect snow warning. Not a lot of lake snow is going on. Erie is about 94% frozen.
Yep.
But yeah, we're kind of in between storms. Just a real quick look at what you could expect up in the area. Snow today, 4 to 6 inches, where Greg Nordstrom and I just were. Beautiful part of the country. I got to look at maybe doing like a lake effect snow expedition. Can't call
Hmm.
it a tour because then I have to get paperwork. But hey, who wants to go on an expedition with me? Got to do that for next year. Thinking about it, CJ, doing that on our
Hmm.
Patreon. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, all right, Ben Knoll, part of a large group of folks out there seeing what the pattern could do, sounding the alarms for a potential weekend powerful storm. But a
Hmm.
lot has to come together for this to happen. And while we're only 5 days or less away, there's definitely some fail modes. We're going to look at that. So let's look at the headlines here. Will this weekend's powerful storm be closer to the coast or farther offshore? That's the key question. For now, the highest chances for impacts are along my neck of the woods, the NC Outer Banks to southeast New England. This storm's strongest snow signals are located in the Carolinas, coastal mid Atlantic, and coastal New England. Of course, there's a chance things
Yep.
trend west. And after seeing the 6Z Euro, I hope that's the case because 6Z Euro, I'll show you, is like, nope, forget it. But yeah, this is what Ben's saying. This is the National Weather Service crashed tab. Come on. National Weather Service Weather Prediction Center, and a really easy to understand infographic. What we know, what we don't know, good stuff. And keep up to date with the latest info, weather.gov. Moderate impacts, eastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia. Right now, 4 a.m. this morning, 60% chance of moderate impacts with a significant coastal storm. So, what we know, continued very cold, strong surface low expected to rapidly develop. The surface low interacting with the very cold air mass will result in widespread heavy precipitation. But the exact track under what we don't know and the strength, which will determine the precipitation type, the impacts to travel, and the coastal regions with strong winds, rough surf, and anything coincident with the astronomical tides. So a lot
Right.
to unpack here. Eric Webb,
Mm-mm-mm.
and he just comes in and just gives you the, it's just like on knife's edge here. Phased Miller A bombs, like what may occur this weekend, have so many moving parts, and they all have to interact just the right way to yield heavy snow. Most models are too underdispersed in how they're handling this at the moment. The most subtle shift in anything can dramatically change the forecast. It's like, wow, like, and we're only talking 4.7
Hmm.
days out, CJ.
Yep.
But this is what,
Yeah.
like winter weather, it's really, really hard.
Yes, it is, especially along the eastern seaboard. Because, man, that rain snow line, or, how close it tracks to the coast, it's kind of
And
one of those things where we're just like, it might not. You might
right.
get anywhere from 1 to 300 inches of snow. We don't know.
That's exactly. I think people that we don't know, and I really like the Weather Service, different
Yeah.
offices putting in the what we know versus what we don't know.
Right.
Um, because we live in a deterministic society. We want people to be able to tell us exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We want it now. We're definitely in attention
Yep.
um, based commerce and lots of stuff trying to vie for people's attention. And so people want those snow maps. Steve, our pilot friend, asked me last night. I was at the gym. He said, "Any snow maps yet? Like for the totals?" And I said, "Thankfully, no." Because right, like it's not time yet. I think Ryan Maui said those should wait until at least tonight at the
Right.
earliest. I saw a tweet from Dr. Maui. So 1 to 24 inches forecast. I'm going with a dusting so that anything more is a pleasant surprise for my younger cousin. Very
Yeah,
cute.
exactly.
As usual with southeast snowstorms, it takes the right ingredients with the perfect timing. So many things can go wrong, etc., and so forth and so on. I like that one. Absolutely. Bring it.
Bring it.
I'm excited. This could be interesting, but we're still close enough
Yeah.
or far enough out, whatever that, or close, that it
Hmm.
doesn't happen. All right, good stuff here from National Weather Service, Newport, Morehead City area. Monday evening forecast map. Let me just read the tweet because that's actually very informative. Just like a recipe for your favorite dessert, or is that's yeah, that says desert.
Somebody forgot an S.
I know on Wheel of Fortune you can only buy vowels, but
Right.
I'd like to buy an S.
Yeah.
I know some people up there. I should message them and razz them on that. My favorite desert. The Mojave.
Yeah.
Um, Everything has to come together perfectly for a winter storm, especially in our area. One ingredient is still, and this is important, all of my stupid humor aside, one ingredient to this, to Eric's point, is still sitting out over the Pacific.
Hmm.
And another is forecast to drop out of Canada, hasn't even developed yet. Lots to work out for sure. So here are our pieces. One of these, a disturbance, it's like a little piece of energy at 500 millibars, comes south out of Canada, meets up with a disturbance coming off the Pacific. And if those two can phase just right, and remember, we're
Hmm.
trying to figure out the math and physics with this and the thermodynamics 4 to 5 days out. And the fact that we could even get close is still a
Yeah.
modern miracle. So, track A, warmer, more rain, ice, snow possible inland. Track B, more favored track for snow. Track C, too far east for impacts. All three of these are possible. Start placing your bets now on Polymarket. And I agree with Hilltop Weather. Hopefully, we get that B track. Yeah.
Right.
Ryan Maui, um, when this is all done,
Yeah.
yikes to a huge degree. Late 1970s return to Florida. A devastating hard freeze is likely, and this is very, very serious here
Hmm.
because it's going to have an impact on a lot. A
Yeah.
devastating hard freeze is likely Sunday, Monday across central Florida behind an incredible cold front attached to a monster nor'easter,
Yep.
presumably. Arctic air mass will drain down the peninsula like flushing a toilet. Ah, that's a
Yeah.
good one, Dr. Maui. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Miami to 32. Hey,
It's
Adrian and our friend Javier, look out. You might
yeah,
have to
it's
buy a
definitely a
blanket.
possibility, and this is going to be a big problem for the citrus industry here. You know, people are already starting to get ready. They're covering their plants and all that. I'm sure Karen is not happy.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to have some serious impact on our agricultural sector down here. The strawberries, we're getting ready to get into strawberry season, as well as our citrus fruits. It's going to cause some serious issues within the citrus industry down here.
And folks that are visiting the theme parks, they come up from
Yeah.
the southern hemisphere this time of year, and it's summer
Hmm.
down there, and they're
Yep.
going to be coming in like, all right, we're in Florida, and like, boom, it could be literally very cold and unpleasant at Universal and
Yeah.
Disney and Legoland and SeaWorld.
Hmm.
So this is going to be something that we need to watch closely and
Absolutely.
start drilling down for more information about what impacts to expect.
Yep.
And I'll reach out to Karen, one of our good friends and supporters down in Florida, the Groveland area, see if we can't get
Hmm.
her on tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. She's got the old green thumb and the insight, and she might know other
She
people.
does.
And that's what we like to do. That's what this is all about, sharing insight and learning from each other
Hmm.
like one big weather geek community.
Right.
So yes, very, very cold air and very problematic. The good thing though, it'll really start to strip the surface temperatures off the Gulf,
Yes, it will.
and we'll see what impact that has as this comes and goes. All right, so on to the models. First, I want to show you the 6Z GFS, and we might as well just show the eastern US because we already know that west of the Mississippi and the Rockies, you're
Yeah.
shut down for the foreseeable future. Sorry. So the GFS from the 6Z run was certainly an eye-opening one, and we only have to move out to about hour 72, and we can start to see the storm manifest itself at the surface and at the 500 millibar level because there is that piece of
Hmm.
energy. Let's use red and the disappearing pin right there. That's
Yep.
one piece finally coming down. And as we rewind it and see where it comes from, there it comes and it starts to get off, and another piece comes down, and they all come together, and it is go time. So, what does that translate to at the surface? It's always hard to get this to go back exactly. There we go. So, let's zoom in further to the southeast. That translates to a low pressure area developing off the coast of the southeast US with very heavy snow across the Carolinas
Hmm.
and Virginia. And this really ramps up. And oh, wow, 972, that's like a solid category 2 hurricane in terms of pressure.
Yep.
The wind out here, these isobars packed tightly. And look at some of these low heights, 522, 516,
Hmm.
very cold air aloft, lots of
Yep.
energy. The baroclinic process will be cranking. So
Yep.
instead of deriving all the energy from latent heat release like hurricanes, this is a more temperature gradient with the heat thrown in. We call that um, I think it's like the heat flux or something, but this is
Something like
all
that.
in the weeds. But yes, the warm Gulf Stream will help to energize this further.
And one thing
And
I do want to point out, Mark, there's that high pressure system to the west, and you
yep,
have that low pressure system to the east. You're going to be funneling cold air literally in a straight line straight down the United States. That's what
excellent
brings
point.
that
Excellent.
extremely cold air down into Florida and Georgia and Alabama and other parts of the southeast.
Yeah, so it's going to funnel that wind down this way
Hmm.
right into the cold air advection is just going to be insane.
Yes.
Literally just opening it up to drain in behind this system.
Hmm.
And some of that cold air will be moving over snowpack still, so it's going to
Yep.
be not as modified. If we widen the shot out to the eastern US, major impacts up to the Delmarva region
Yep.
as well, but just not enough blocking farther out over the Atlantic to keep this going on up the coast for what will
Right.
be I-95 Mauler. Not yet, but we're talking the inception of all of this really starts to crank here at 90 hours.
Yep.
It's not that far,
No, it is
but it's
not.
enough time that things can change, and that is certainly I might as well show you the Euro's take on it. The 6Z Euro, got to be fair, is a swing and a miss. Just spoil it for you. So the 6Z Euro, we get it cranking, and it's just enough to bring some snow showers to the Outer Banks, and then it's kind of strung out. But here's what I find suspect, CJ, and I think
Hmm.
you're going to see exactly what I'm going for here. Let's grab the telestrator, and what color should we use? Because we want everything this sort of pink color. Triple barrel low pressure? I don't think so.
Yeah, that doesn't, it must not be able to, it can't figure out exactly how to resolve that
Right.
vorticity there. So,
Exactly.
yeah, and I would say that these off hour runs, air quotes, these 6Z and
Right.
18Z, they're not as accurate as the 0 and um 12Z runs. I wonder why that is.
Well,
I
some
personally
people
don't even
say
know.
that that's not a thing, and some people say
Oh,
that
I
it is a
definitely
thing.
think it's a thing.
And I think what can be certainly inferred here is that we know the synoptic runs of 0Z and 12Z have the weather
Hmm.
balloon data globally.
Right. And so yeah, that would make more sense.
So interesting scenario here from the old Euro
Yeah, that is
versus
very strange.
the GFS, and we just click to it and go out to that same time frame, and you don't see, oh, it's already trying to do the 12Z. Maybe we can yap long enough to actually get through
Mhm.
enough of the frames of the 12Z. So this is more focused. It does try
Absolutely.
to
And it's focused
transfer,
further west.
right, some of that energy out to the east, but it is focusing more of the energy further to the west. and that leads to the big time shenanigans that we end up with. So
Right.
very interesting. And we go back to the previous run, zero Z, very
Hmm.
similar. So very consistent with the GFS. 18Z
Right.
yesterday, I would say that's pretty consistent overall still.
Very.
12Z yesterday. So at least
Yeah.
there's some consistency.
The
And
GFS, ever since this storm reappeared,
right.
um, has been pretty consistent with it run to run. I'm
Sure.
not too sure about the Euro just because the 16 or the 18 and 6Z Euros are they're not exactly, it may not be within the forecast range. But in this case, I mean,
Woo.
it was pretty consistent with the GFS. The Euro actually caved to the GFS,
Right.
is what I would call it. And I don't know. I think this run is going to be a one off, but we'll have to wait and see what both 12Z forecasts say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the 6Z for yesterday was a blockbuster for the Northeast. Remember
Yes,
that?
I saw everybody, talking about it. I mean, even before that, in prior, the Euro didn't even show it at all.
Right. So the euro's been jumping around. GFS has been more
Mhm.
consistent. We're getting into the range of some of the high resolution models.
Yeah,
Uh, by tonight, that'll be more of a factor. Overall, though, the pattern seems to be there, and we'll just
right.
have to see. So I want to read you a couple things. This is from the forecast discussion from right here in Wilmington, and this is written just a few hours ago, 6:36, and it's that new format with the what has changed part, and then your bullet points and key messages and so forth. So it says previously, while a storm developing off the southeast coast this weekend appears likely, any effects locally remain highly uncertain, and confidence in details remains low. Precisely because of what we just showed you, that there is still enough time and enough spread in the guidance. So look at bullet point number 2 here, developing low pressure. Let's read that right in this couple paragraphs. So developing low pressure off the southeast coast this weekend could bring winter weather and hazardous travel conditions to the area. A southern stream Gulf Coast shortwave, that's just a little piece of energy, and impressive 500 millibar trough dropping south through the central Mississippi Valley Friday into Saturday have the potential to create an impressive storm off the southeast coast this weekend. The in situ air mass will be cold enough to support snow for the entire event. And this is important right here. Forecast soundings show deep west and west northwest flow and no hint of a warm nose. Come on, please happen. This is
Right.
so good, CJ. This is what will give us our big snow. The setup would suggest sleet or freezing rain isn't an option. Oh, of course, this can always change, but with the trough moving in from the northwest and the low well offshore, the potential for warm air intruding above the surface layer is quite low. Ah, the weather gods are shining upon us, at least in model land. Let's see if we can get it to happen in reality. The key to this event will be the timing and location of the southern stream shortwave and the unusually strong trough dropping south. Their
Right.
interaction will determine if the storm is a boom or a bust. Worth noting that the trough originates from north of Hudson Bay, while the southern stream shortwave moves onto the continent from the East Pacific. Both areas are somewhat data limited. Damn it! So
Love
there's
when that
that,
happens.
which will have an impact on the accuracy of the guidance. Send the hurricane hunters out. Spend the budget money. Go, go. I know people. I can. Oh well. Like they're going to listen to me.
Right.
Still a lot of uncertainty, and this is evidenced by guidance all over the place with snowfall totals ranging from nothing to several inches or more across the area. There are even large run-to-run variations, which is what we showed you, within
Right.
even one suite of guidance. So we're going to have to just wait and see. A lot of people are either going to be like, oh, absolutely great, awesome, or, well, that sucked, and the groundhog will do his thing on February 2nd, and that's that. All right. So as we just wait for a few frames to come in, we got to burn some clock here, as they say. Uh, Trying to think about the last time we really had a big one. I mean, last
Right,
year, that January 21st, when the went across the northern Gulf Coast, we got 4 inches at the house here, but a lot of it was sleet. And sleet
right,
robs the available QPF, or the quantitative precipitation forecast as a forecast, but sleet steals the moisture. And with there not being that much sleet mentioned this time, the potential is there for, I mean, some of the snowfall maps I saw from Pivotal, somebody shared, early as it
right.
may be, it's like 39 inches for Norfolk, like
Yeah.
38 inches in Raleigh. Like, dude. So
Here, I'm
anything
going to
you're,
send you something we can look at
yeah.
briefly. It's a little bit more, down my neck of the woods, but I think it's something we can talk about. So, some of the bigger models, Mark, have actually shown the possibility of some Gulf effect snow, at least flurries, for the west coast of the peninsula.
Oh yeah, Jeff, heads up,
Yep,
legit chance of Gulf effect flurries near the Tampa Bay area Saturday night. Model support is modest, but the meteorology says it's possible.
yep,
Let's science this up. I love that. Here we go.
yep.
Rule of thumb, water temperature must be at least 25 warmer than the air temp. Oh man, this is like lake effect, except
Yeah,
it's
it's all it
you're
is.
talking right, it's the lake index that they use up north, and Greg
Yeah.
taught me all about that. I didn't think about that down for the Gulf.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely any body of water that's large enough to influence its environment, even on a micro scale, Mark. You've seen lake
Sure.
effect snow up in Colorado on a small reservoir. It's possible. It just takes the correct, the correct layer of ingredients in the atmosphere to
Right.
happen. So like he talks
So
about, you have that long, strong fetch with
right.
northwest wind, but the limiting factor, we will have dry air aloft. But can the temperature difference, overcome that? We'll see. So if that's the case, we could see snow flurries, especially Tampa Bay north. And if it does, it'll be very close to the coast. So we're not talking inches of snow
Right.
here. We're
Right.
talking definitely the possibility.
Leave the bread on the shelves at Publix, people. It'll be
Yes,
fine.
we'll be fine. We're going to be okay. We're not talking 2 to 3
Wow.
inches of snow in downtown
Right.
Tampa.
Maybe a dusting if you get lucky.
Yeah.
Oh man, you got to try to get up there and see that. That's not too far for you. That'd be cool,
No,
dude.
if it's possible, I mean, I would actually argue, Mark, there's a good possibility we could see it on the backside of this system.
Right.
The Gulf will be warm enough.
Oh yeah.
With the fetch coming on shore, I can tell you that locals, friends of mine that are locals, my grandparents have lived here 25 years almost. Back in 2010, they had snow flurries as far south as Sarasota from a similar phenomena after a big system came through.
Gulf still running well above normal overall. So yeah, that temperature difference with height. And when we're
Hmm.
talking severe weather, we call that the lapse rate. And so it's pretty much what the lapse rate is. And in
Yeah.
this case, it's just enough that it could kick off some snow flurries
Yep.
down there in parts of the Tampa Bay area. That is something else.
Yeah.
Come on back. Come on back. Let's see what people said about it. Nothing yet. I guess it's brand new. He just posted that pretty
Hmm.
recently.
Yeah, I think it was this morning.
All right, let's see how we are doing on our frames. We're out to 42 hours. We only have to yammer on for a few more minutes to get enough to see if the 12Z GFS is going to um, disappoint everybody or the celebration continues. So let's just move. And I know that there's other sites that have the frames earlier, but we're just going to stick to tidbits for now. So we're up to 42 hours, and I guess we can look at some of the energy that's coming. Let's see if we can spot it. Spot the energy. So at 42 hours, there's that energy coming in from the Pacific, and still not far enough out into time to get the trough coming out of Canada. Um, Trying to think what else we can do to just we gotta waste
Burn
time
time.
and get some more
See
frames
here.
in. We got about 15 minutes until we normally wrap things up.
Right.
Um, I would say that I'm going to look into my for you on Twitter, but that can get sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Um,
can do it without screen sharing. Let me do that. There we go. So let's see if anybody has posted anything since we have been on that I can talk to you about. Oh, CJ did. There we go. And CJ, what? What did I do?
uh-oh.
So we were
Yeah.
talking about this earlier about social media and the weather. And
Yep.
41 minutes ago, whoever runs the Louisville
Yeah, it's Louisville
Metropolitan
Metro.
Police Department deserves a raise. They have really been at it. So let's just look at some of this as we have fun here, wasting time. Let's go
Oh,
back a hair. Um, Even our mayor doesn't skip leg day. Eventually, the mayor just picks up the car and puts it back on the street. Stop doing stuff, people. Um,
oh,
these are different officer sent in. Oh, here we go again. The Yum Center. Uh, do not purchase video editing software from Temu.
God.
Oh, that's funny. It's literally it's like they just need the scratches and the black and white and have a
Right.
fast frame rate, and it'll literally look like something taken from the 1950s. What a complete waste of money. This is hilarious. How does officer can't drive for crap unwind after getting absolutely destroyed online for getting his cruiser stuck? What the heck
Mm,
is going on? You know what? Louisville came down to Cameron Indoor and got their butts handed to them. So
yeah.
I guess, that's basketball. Bro, what?
Yeah. This
Wow.
one was a good one. The You Do You King.
Wow.
Please
Yeah.
clear your windshields, people.
That is a real picture.
Yeah.
Man, I've done that in a driveway or a parking area, like to just wait for it to warm
Yeah.
up enough. But driving on the road, I would have, it's lights and sirens time after that, folks. Sorry.
Yeah.
You got to get pulled over and just get it. You don't need to be written up, but just get a little bit of a talking to.
Uh,
Using force to drive for sure.
oh.
So peaceful. Not gonna lie, had a tear in our eye until the frickin' thing froze up. Videographer this
Their
morning. How
their
about that?
their stuff this week has been just amazing.
Officer Law. Wow. We're hiring. If you want to go and become a comedian at the Louisville Metropolitan Police Department, they are going to be on
Yep.
their first Netflix special. Wouldn't surprise me. Ted Sarandos and company. You got the
Oh,
guy that climbed the Taipei building with no
yeah.
straps and
Oh
crap.
God.
LMPD will be on Netflix with their first comedy special. Book it, Dano. It's coming. You'll see. Well, that didn't take long. Um, Dropping stuff there. Be patient. We have more work to do. I'm sorry. This is just funny stuff. I thought I would show you guys. Finally, should the Department of Social Media remain balanced or stay unhinged? And there's 6 days left in the poll.
That's
Fantastic.
great.
All right, let's see where we are on model guidance. We are out to 66 hours, getting close. Check the eastern U.S. Do we have the beginnings of our snowstorm? Oh, still trying to come together there. At 66 hours, overnight hours, Thursday into Friday, a little bit of snow in southern Missouri, and our storm starts to take shape.
Go ahead and bump it back to the previous run though, Mark, because we can at least infer a little bit.
Whoop.
You know, eh,
A little, little
it's
farther north, a
pretty
little bit,
similar, maybe a little further north.
right? A little bit more expansive.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Let's look at the 500 millibar level because that's a big part of this. There's that piece of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the 12Z. This is the 6Z. Obviously, it's a little further along because we're 6 hours further out in
Mm-hmm.
time, but no major changes just yet. What the heck else can we do to we just need like one, two, let's see, four, eight, nine, maybe 10 frames and we'll have our answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me unshare. So again, we don't want it's not like I have anything, you know how the politics can creep in. What is Mark looking at on his Twitter that he doesn't want us to see?
Right.
The for you can burn you. You just got to be careful. Um, let's see. Algorithm time. All right, here we go from Tim Buckley. Screen share because it's safe. Tim Buckley is up in the Triad area at WFMY. All right, will there be a weekend storm? Well, there will be a storm that forms over the ocean. It's still unclear of how far inland it would send snow. Is there a chance it misses us? Yes. We have about a 50% chance to stay dry and a 50% chance to see some snow. Now, that's in the Greensboro area, the
Okay.
triangle. I'm sorry, the triad. Could it
Okay.
be ice? No. And this setup looks very cold in the whole atmosphere. And
Right.
that is very, very important. We get the sleet out of the picture, we get the freezing rain out of the picture. How
Right.
much? No reasonable meteorologist would guess at this point for any one location. Absolutely. However, it could produce big totals if close to the storm center, better chances for big amounts at the coast. Yes, that's where I am. This could be a fluffier snow than usual, which can stack up higher. So I'm 55
Interesting.
years old, but somewhere in here, the 10-year-old mark is still in there. Just ask Rebecca, she knows.
That's funny.
Are you ever going to grow up? Nope.
No.
So what's the forecast then? Well, right now it's just watching the weekend for possible snow. Nothing more certain than that can be said until we get more confidence. It will definitely be cold. And a big part of that is this upper air sounding network that we have through weather balloons.
Yep.
And that is important because, as we saw and we talked about earlier, um, pieces of the energy that are shining, something shining in my eye, the sunshine out there, gonna blind me. Um, a part of the energy is sitting out over the Pacific, and
Right.
part of it's sitting over Canada, and we can kind of look at that if we go to the wider forecast shot here from the CONUS, and even let's see, let's look at 500 millibars, and let's go out still at 66 hours. Come on, let's look at the 6Z and just look at how the 500 millibar comes together. So the piece out over the Pacific comes in right about there. Let's get the
Yep.
telestrator back.
That's
Piece
30
part.
hours from 6Z. So,
Right. So there's the energy coming off the Pacific, the energy out over the Hudson Bay area up here, whatever. Still has a ways to go. And until it gets sampled
yep.
by Southern California, Arizona upper air soundings, and then stuff up over the upper Midwest Great Lakes region. Again, Hudson Bay sitting right there. Just not a lot of weather balloon launches. Sorry. So we're stuck. We're at a disadvantage because we don't have the data. And the data is what drives the models. But as we can see, the pieces do try to come together, and boy, oh boy, the 500 millibar pattern is just incredible for that storm to ramp up by hour 132. So let's jump ahead to the 12Z here. And we are still, oh, 78. And let's see what it looks like. Eastern US, here we go. 78 hours. Still just not long enough. But let's look at the 500 millibar, see what that looks like, and compare it to previous runs. I don't know. I mean, not much difference to me. I just think that euro of everything getting strung out, CJ. Oh, I know.
Right.
Let's look at the euro at that the 6Z when everything was all mangled and whatever. So look at that. Look at all those different pieces of vorticity sitting in there
Right.
at 123. It's just a mess.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. Now, one of the things I've noticed, because I was just looking at tidbits, I was trying to see, can I see what's going on here? I will say that it looks to have been more bundled
Right.
than the 6Z run. Um, over like northern Mississippi, Alabama, but then the on the mean sea level precip map, oh, excuse me, you have a what it looks to be a low forming over a surface low forming over the Florida Panhandle. So that would be a totally different ball game because if it comes through, then you get a definitely a more typical Miller A.
Right. Yeah.
So
So
we'll
the
have to see what happens. Like I said, I don't know if I'm buying anything yet. It's out to 84 now, and it's still kind of, like nothing there yet.
right.
So
We're
it's
just
just a
not quite
waiting game
there.
at this
Yep.
point.
Right. We only need a few more frames, but
Yep.
really interesting. And you were talking about that surface low. I remember back on the Euro, a couple of runs back, we'll just go back a few. You did get a low over the Gulf. Let's see if it was still there. At least it's dropped that idea that the cyclogenesis is occurring off the southeast coast, which is typically,
Hmm.
I think this is what your point was. That's usually how we get our big snow. The
Right.
normal Miller A. In fact, you know what? This is perfect time to do that. Jump on the Google. Miller A versus Miller
Yeah.
B storm. What a wonderful Wikipedia. I've donated to them, so we're going to use it. So the Miller A and the Miller B nor'easters. The Miller classification was created by meteorologist and researcher
Mm-hmm.
J.E. Miller in 1946. They used the technique to determine the track and severity of nor'easters. And by the way, our Tech Tuesday will be Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Um, Storms that receive the Type A classification develop primarily in the Gulf of Mexico along the southern east coast near Georgia
right.
and South Carolina. So
Yep.
your Miller A is the type that usually runs up the coast,
Yep.
and the Genesis is in the Gulf region.
Yep. Normally the North Gulf, right off of the Florida Panhandle. Now, what we just had this past weekend was your typical Miller B. So
Right.
these storms growing up where I did, this is what always gave us our big snows because we need it. You need to be just north of the center of the low pressure system to get the highest snow totals. And to get those over the mountains, we have to have it come in from the west. So again, kind of rare, but not all that uncommon either.
A couple of big storms that I have gone up to the Northeast for
Mm-hmm.
were these Miller B types in the
Right.
past. And the energy swung down and formed right off the Delmarva here,
Yep.
and then got up off the benchmark. And Jersey up to Cape Cod and vicinity was hammered.
Yep.
I don't know if I've been up to the Northeast for a true Miller A because they typically hug the coast. I
Right.
have to go back and look. I started doing winter storms outside of North Carolina back in 2014. And in fact, that was a nice Miller B system that went off Cape Cod. It was a bomb cyclone.
Yep.
That's the one where Jim Cantori, he texted me, he said, "Get your butt up here." Because I was thinking about it. I
Yep.
wasn't real sure. He's like, "Get your butt up here." And boy, am I glad I did. Clear all the drawings. Thank you. So that's the Miller A and the Miller B storm classification and how they get their origin. So just going back, here's some different satellite pictures of it. Um, so yeah, storms that receive the Type B classification develop inland over the United States. Storms that come in from the west up the Ohio Valley are usually referred to as Miller B type systems. They originate as an area of low pressure, creating storming weather over the Midwestern and the Ohio River Valley, as whereas the other ones typically get their genesis over water. So yeah, there you go. And the Miller A systems can quickly deepen, and that is what we're looking for, those so-called bomb cyclones. All right, let's see where we are on the old GFS. If we have yammered enough, 96 hours. And the drum roll, let's see what we got at 96 hours. All right, so there's the low at,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good sign right there. All that snow over western North Carolina. Because let's jump in
Yeah,
and
I'll
look
tell you
at
this,
the
Mark,
euro.
compared to the 6Z, this is quite far to the south and west
Good.
where it bundles that energy. Um, so I think this run's going to be very interesting.
So let's compare apples to apples here. So that's 12Z Saturday, 12Z. So this is the euro at 12, sorry, Saturday. I got to go to Saturday, Mark. There we go, 12Z Saturday. And this is the GFS. GFS is definitely more amplified
And even
comparing.
if you look at the 12Z GFS compared to the 6Z, so if you just hit the previous run button, watch
Yep.
where it had actually,
Yeah, you're right.
pushed that up. So that's kind of good to see in terms of for the weather weanings along the mid-Atlantic
Right.
coast. You want it to hug
Yeah.
that coast as much as possible and to see the beginnings of a low pressure system developing off of the Florida Panhandle. That's more akin to your Blizzard of 93-esque event. Your very typical Miller A.
Yep. So good question from Kathy and Fernandina. Who was this Miller person? So let's jump in again. Uh, Miller A versus Miller B, and we had the wiki. So again, this was from J.E. Miller, a
Mm-hmm.
researcher. And so let's do that. Researcher J.E. Miller, and we'll do the Google. What an amazing world we live in. Thank you for the autofill. Bam! Um, let's see. Well, it didn't
I don't
show.
think there's a lot on him. I think he's just known for being the guy that came up with the type A, type B. We call them Miller A's and Miller B's because it was his typing, But other than that, I mean, he was just a meteorological researcher back in the 1940s.
Gotcha. Just a guy who has storms named after him, Miller A and Miller B.
Yep.
Well, that should be a movie of the week. Some good content. Anyway,
Oh yeah, you're
all
gonna like this, Mark. Um,
right.
I'm seeing the
Out.
continental United States. I'm on the CONUS zoom, so it doesn't show snow, it just shows the rain, like just
Right.
precip. But
Oh yeah.
you're gonna like this run, I think, a lot.
Out to 108 and a little bit of precip type problems east of Highway 17 in North Carolina. Otherwise, though, a big thumping of the Carolinas and Virginia here on the 12Z
Hmm.
GFS. And so this is 0Z Sunday. Let's put the euro at 0Z Sunday. And what a difference. Absolutely. So one of these is going to be right and one of these is going to be wrong. We'll have to just tune in and see which one ends up being right and which one ends up being wrong. But you can even see here the way the low heights are,
Hmm.
the thicknesses, very, very cold air. Let me outline it for you. So a very deep pool of cold air right there in the upper
Yep.
levels, at about 500 millibars, which is roughly 18,000 feet. That is the cold air that you need to help energize this sucker because out over
Yep.
the Atlantic, you got the latent heat release going on. The Gulf Stream is sitting out there. And man, you could get some insane snow totals inland as this starts to crank up.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Clear the deck and see what we got. Next frame. And yeah, look at that.
Is
Wow.
that 986?
Yep. So very, very impactful, closer to the coast this time.
Oh
So up
yeah.
into Maryland and Delaware, even as far back as DC, Richmond, Carolina's looking real good. And it's over the weekend, so I could literally get out and about with the kids and show them, not just staying in Wilmington. This is good. This is good, CJ.
Mhm.
Wow. So we'll do one more frame and then we will officially be at day 5, and that's enough
Yeah.
because there's so much variability here that there's no reason to keep, oh, let's see where it ends up. This is not a hurricane. There's no landfall, but I think one more
Right.
frame and then we'll be good. What you guys think watching on the chat there? You like this? This could be interesting. I know Mitch West will be all about this. NC Weatherhound, Chuck, or is it Chick? I can't. My mind is racing. All of our weather weenies in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. Jesse will like this. There it is, the 120. Oh, dude!
Hmm.
Wow! 977 millibars right off the Norfolk coast.
Hmm.
Blizzard conditions for the Tidewater, Delaware. Wow, wow, wow. Even down to the Outer Banks. My goodness. Man, and that is only 5 days out. Now, before we get too carried away, we being me, this could still end up being like this.
Yep.
Wah, wah, wah.
Hmm.
So we'll see what the 12Z Euro does. You'll have to watch yourselves. But CJ,
Yeah,
as
it's
we
gonna be a
wrap it up
while.
for today, I'm excited
Yeah,
to
no,
look
it's definitely something I'm
closer
very
here.
excited for.
Right. He's starting
Uh,
to come out.
yeah, the as we watch these the ingredients start to pull together, we'll have a better idea, especially by I would say Thursday. We should know for sure, hey, is
Oh,
this gonna
yeah.
be
I hope so.
yeah.
Yes. But to sum things up on a very serious note, this will have more travel problems for
Oh yeah.
the areas that it impacts. RDU, Wilmington, Norfolk, those airports
Hmm.
Charlotte could be impacted for air travel.
New York City.
I-95, that'll just
Yeah.
be a disaster. Highway 17, which is the coastal
Hmm.
highway, that could be a problem. We could be looking at blizzard conditions, just looking at the amount of snow, because remember, it's not just the amount of snow, it's the amount of snow and the wind and the duration.
Yep.
So, looking at that, the amount of time that this would be happening, we could see a blizzard set up. There could be some coastal flooding issues. So, tomorrow's show, we're going to focus on this more and more and drill down into what we can expect. We'll look at different
Exactly.
aspects from National Weather Service offices and so forth. And of course, before the end of the week, we'll definitely check in with Jen. Tell her to
Yep.
just come up here. She's from Ohio. She doesn't need snow. She's
No.
good. And so is this Yinzer. He's like, you
Yeah.
can have it.
Y'all can have every bit of it. I will
And
watch on Facebook from Florida
well, I want to
or
watch on
YouTube.
Facebook and everything we're doing here. Your snow
Yeah.
flurries in Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
Saturday,
that's
Sunday.
if
That could
if
be
that
neat.
does end up coming to fruition, I definitely will be up in the northern part of the Bay Area to see that because I missed out on our giant snowstorm last year, so I have to
Right.
make up for it.
And then the last thing to really take note of, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow and see if we can get a guest to come on and address this further, is the very cold air coming down into the peninsula of Florida, the potential of citrus and overall economic impact to the state of Florida. I'm assuming, and you're connected with politics a little bit, DeSantis and company are going to be, everybody's going to be on top of this. This is a big
Hmm.
deal. Florida
Yeah,
relies on those warm temperatures and sunshine. You're going to have the sunshine, but it's not going to be so warm.
exactly. And it's definitely something that the state is. I've actually seen the governor's office posting some stuff from Max Velocity and a couple of
Right.
other weather pages commenting on it. Our legislative session is underway in Tallahassee. So the government is really going to be focused on something like that, especially with the potential for such a hard freeze and our citrus crop being impacted. It's going to be something that Floridians are going to be taking note of.
Yeah,
That's
and
for sure.
well, they should. And if you know anybody that is coming up this weekend to enjoy the parks from the
Yeah.
Southern Hemisphere, seriously, let them know you
Bundle
might need
up.
to bring some. Yeah, you get cold weather in Brazil. It's just not this time of year.
And same
Uh,
thing for any of y'all that are coming down from up north. Bring your warmer clothes. It's
yeah,
not going to be as warm as you think it is.
that is paradoxical. If you're coming
Yeah.
south from up north, bring your warm clothes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate your time and attention as always. Pretty exciting
Always.
stuff when you can watch the
Yep.
models come in like that. And you can thank Standard Time for that because we don't have to wait.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, I am Mark Sudduth in Wilmington, North Carolina. That is CJ Morgan down in Southwest Florida. This has been Talking Weather. Going to have a big one tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you
Yep.
all then. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. We shall see you tomorrow.
Bye, y'all.